Can intermittent fasting help you focus, break bad habits, and result in better grades? Today we'll explore some of the science behind fasting, discuss the recent Silicon Valley fad called dopamine fasting, and I'll share with you my recent journey on a 2-week fast. Hello, my lawlings. This is Professor Bo Baez. People fast for various reasons. For some, it might be to lose weight. For some, to help with blood sugar. And for others, they might want to get closer to God. Today, I want to explore whether fasting might help you with mental clarity, allowing you to stay more focused, resulting in better performance in the classroom and on your exams. As a skeptic to fasting, I decided to give fasting a try initially for a day, and it ended up going on for 2 weeks. More on that later. By the way, I'm not a physician or a nutritionist, so make sure you seek medical advice before you try fasting. You may have heard of some famous people who fast, including Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, who only eats 1 meal a day, or maybe you have heard about actor Chris Pratt going on a 21-day Daniel fast, where he didn't eat meat, sugar, or alcohol. In the ancient world, Greek mathematician Pythagoras required his students to fast before coming to him because he thought they needed mental clarity to understand his complex ideas. If fasting sounds scary, you might agree with Charles Dickens, who wrote in a story that in one school, the teacher was responsible for corporal punishment, fasting, and other tortures and terrors. Today, we will look at some definitions, science, and a few ways people implement fasting into their lives. Fasting has traditionally been associated with not eating and is defined in one dictionary as abstinence from food or a limiting of one's food. More recently, fasting has taken on a broader meaning to include abstinence from any number of things, including sex, drugs, alcohol, technology, or gaming. Fasting, in the traditional sense of abstaining from food, has been practiced for thousands of years. In the Christian Gospels, Jesus went into the desert and did not eat for 40 days and 40 nights. In my faith tradition, fasting was not encouraged, but I was taught that fasting was a way to get closer to God, helping the mind become more focused on spiritual matters. Interestingly, one thing that Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha agreed on was the power of fasting. Science. Okay, I'm going to explain this as simply as I can for a general audience, so my apologies for any medical professionals who are watching. Our bodies produce a chemical called dopamine. In the brain, dopamine is a neurotransmitter which transfers information between nerve cells. Specifically, it is believed that dopamine helps with motivational salience, moving us towards something desirable or away from something undesirable. For example, suppose you love chocolate. You see a box of chocolates in your home, and depending on your dopamine levels, you might not think much about it, or you might binge eat the entire box. The idea behind fasting is to reduce dopamine levels, allowing your brain to focus on something other than food or whatever you're fasting from. While this approach is recommended by some and is used therapeutically to help drug addicts, there have been no studies confirming that this actually works to improve mental clarity. What we do have are many testimonials by those who claim they are more focused during a fast, and that they have been able to break bad habits through the power of fasting. How to fast. Again, I'm not a physician. Before you make any changes to your diet, make sure you consult with a nutritionist or a physician, as fasting can be harmful to certain groups of people, such as those with eating disorders, medical conditions, or pregnant women. There are different types of fasts, including intermittent, prolonged, water only, juice, or time restricted. The idea for getting mental clarity is to do something different from the typical modern diet of eating 3 meals a day and a few snacks along the way. An article in the New England Journal of Medicine states that, quote, during periods of fasting, triglycerides are broken down to fatty acids and glycerol, which are used for energy. The liver converts fatty acids to ketone bodies, which provide a major source of energy for many tissues, especially the brain during fasting, unquote. In other words, the body shifts energy from digesting food to helping the brain. I decided to try an intermittent fast, where I would only eat once a day. I had dinner on the first evening and did not eat again for 24 hours. During the first 12 hours after eating, my body was burning energy from what I had eaten. But after that, it began to burn fat. I was surprised by a few things. First, I wasn't hungry during breakfast and lunchtime, only getting a bit hungry right before dinner. In the afternoon, I normally get a little bit sluggish, I'm tired, but not on this day. I was alert and more focused all day long. I even went to the gym, I exercised for an hour, and I was surprised that I was able to complete my 3-mile walk in record time, shaving 10 seconds off of each mile. That evening, I broke the fast with a cup of coffee, which tasted better than usual. I continued the fast the next day, and again, I had more energy and was more focused at work. On the third day, I broke the fast by eating lunch, 17 hours after my last meal. Almost immediately, I felt sluggish, and my mind was not as clear as it had been earlier in the day. I also had a strong desire to go home and take a nap. I continued this intermittent fast for 2 weeks, only breaking it a couple of times for social events. On the days that I kept my fast, I continued to have more focus and mental clarity. One unexpected benefit was the loss of 10 pounds or 4.5 kilograms. During this time, I did not change my caloric intake or my exercise routine, yet my body lost weight. The science indicates that this is because my body was able to burn stored fat more efficiently. My plan at this point is to make intermittent fasting part of my daily routine. New videos every other Wednesday, so hit the subscribe and bell buttons so you can become a better student and a better lawyer.